Have you ever done everything right and completely fallen apart anyway? I spent weeks in India taking notes on productivity, creating a schedule for myself, setting goals, putting them on a timeline. I came home, sat down day one of my work, and drove myself to the forest instead. That happened to me about 3 weeks ago, and this is that story. The forest has saved me a number of times in my life, and this is the most recent, and I want to tell you about it because it's why I'm sitting here right now. Here's something most people don't know about me. I spent hours of time in the woods alone when I was a kid. I loved it. I loved how the sun shone through the trees. I loved the smell. I loved the vibration there. I loved taking a new trail and finding a creek that I had never seen before. And most importantly, I loved how safe I felt there. And that was something that I desperately needed. For me, when I was a kid, the world was an intensely cruel place, and I needed to know that I wasn't alone in it. I needed to feel that. And the woods gave that to me. I wouldn't have been able to put that into words then. I just knew that I felt a little more okay when I was there and from the time there. I also think it gave me hope. It helped me to know that there was something wholesome in life, something good to hold on to, and I really did need that. Now fast forward 25 years. I became a yoga teacher in 2011. I was going through a breakup. I was in despair, heartbreak, all of that. And I started attending classes at this studio that I really loved. And eventually I saw this notice for a teacher training that was coming up, and I decided to do it. I borrowed the money on a 0% APR credit card, and I paid that off within a year. And yoga did something for me that the forest did for me when I was a kid. It helped me come home to myself, one class at a time, and it helped heal me from the despair, gave me a feeling of hope. So I taught for many years. It was terrifying at first, standing in front of a room full of people, but I kept going. I spent hours and hours on each class because I wanted it to be just right. I wanted to do a good job. And I met really wonderful people. They were complimentary of me. I could tell they really appreciated what I had to offer. And this helped me to gain confidence and also to have more authenticity in my voice, in my teaching voice. So I taught for many years, and eventually I decided I wanted to finish my college degree. I started when I was younger and I never finished, so I wanted to go back. And I started taking 1 to 2 classes at a time per semester. And it took me many years, but I finally graduated last year with a business degree, 4.0, and no student loan debt. And I have a 2006 car with no car payment too, just so you know. But when I graduated, I was like, now what? Because I hadn't gone back to school because I wanted to change careers. I really loved teaching yoga. I wanted the degree for myself, and I thought that it would be a benefit having a business degree since teaching yoga is a career and it's a business. So in the last year and a half of my school, I moved to a new city, a new state. I didn't really know anyone. I didn't really have connections. So it was, starting all over again and starting from scratch. And I really didn't know what I was going to do. So I prayed about it. I prayed about it a lot. And what came to me was to teach yoga online. Now, mind you, I had no real experience with this except for during COVID. I taught some classes online and I enjoyed it because they were people that I already knew. But I had no videography skills, no camera skills, video editing, none of it. But I decided to do it anyway. I hired a coach, someone who was really successful doing this already. I bought a good camera. I bought a laptop that could handle video editing. I learned video editing software and just kind of spent hours and hours of time learning how to do this. It was choppy to start because I traveled a lot last year, and so I was inconsistent with my uploads. And all of this takes a lot of time. And when you're new and are just learning, it's like quadruple the time. But I persisted and I stuck with it. So earlier this year, I was in India with my dad from the end of January to mid-March. And while I was there, I made the decision that when I came back to the US, that I was going to get really serious, that I was going to get consistent in my uploads, consistent in social media, the whole thing. I set up a schedule for myself. I put discipline around my time. I had to buy new lights. I moved my furniture in a way that it would make it easier to move on filming days. So day one of my work, and furniture is moved, lights are set up, makeup is done, I planned out my class, and I was doing a run through before I started filming. So as I'm doing the run through, I hit a wall and I was like, this is so boring. No one's gonna want to watch this. Like, I don't even want to do it. What am I doing? This is not for me. This path is not for me. I just want to be in the woods. And then I was like, what? Day one, after all this, all the workshops and all the notes and all the everything, and day one, and you are taking off for the woods. But I did. I left everything as it was. I packed my lunch and I drove myself to the forest. I hiked for hours. I hugged some trees. I had my lunch and I just had a really lovely time. I came home, put my furniture all back where it belonged. And now the next day that I was to work for myself, I didn't even set anything up. I just went straight to the woods. I'm hiking along, but this day, I started feeling like a loser, honestly, because I was thinking, you couldn't even do this for like one day. You know, what are you doing? And I'm walking on this trail and I was heading in this direction that I had never been on. And as I'm walking, it opens out into a clearing, this beautiful clearing, this magnificent clearing of green. And there's trees on all sides of it. It's large and expansive, so there's a lot of private space. There's a lot of possibility. It was just beautiful. There were trees for shade. And I thought to myself, this would be the most beautiful place to film yoga classes. And in that moment, I caught a glimpse of something. I'm knowing my inner guide, maybe the path in front. It just kind of became clear that my love for yoga and my love of nature were really not two separate things. It was really a part of the same path, and that I really wanted to teach more than just the physical postures of yoga. And this clearing helped bring me to that. I still wavered for a few days after that. I considered all my options, what I could do or should do. I even looked at part-time job postings online. And on Sunday, April 12th, I had this epiphany and decided in this moment that I owed it to myself, that after everything I had invested, the money, the time, everything, that I was going to give myself 6 months to just put myself in this 100% without any real guarantee of where it was going or if it was going to go anywhere after that. But for 6 months, I'm committed that this is what I'm doing. So the forest saved me again. It called me and I listened. And it's how it's always been for me. The forest when I was a kid, pretending I was an explorer in the woods. Yoga when it brought me home to myself when I needed it. And then the trees being there for me when I needed them the most. And maybe that's what this channel is all about. Now, I don't know exactly where this is all going to lead. I know that it's going to involve yoga and nature and honest conversations like this. So if you'd like to be a part of this journey, please subscribe. I'd really love that. And if any of this resonated with you, please let me know in the comments, and I will see you next time.